welcome to my channel Among Stouts. If you're new here, my name is Samantha. I'm a homeschool stay-at-home mom of 4 kiddos, and today's video I am sharing with you everything that we are going to be using in our morning time. So most of these things we are planning on using for the entire school year. Some are going to phase out because of that we're doing some of them for the first 6 weeks of school until we're on to a new subject for CC, and so some things are going to be cycled in and out, and I'll let you guys know what those are as we go through the video. And today's video is a collaboration with Emily over at A Woman on a Journey. If you guys haven't checked out her channel yet, you definitely need to head over and check out her channel, watch all her videos, and subscribe. She is so sweet. Her channels are super helpful, and she is homeschooling her cute boy. So definitely head over there and check out her morning time video. And there's also lots of other moms who are participating in this collaboration, so make sure you go check out their videos to see what they are doing in their morning time / morning baskets. And some of them are even sharing with you what they and their kids do for quiet time. So if you are needing some suggestions, or you just like to see what other people are doing, definitely check out these videos because they are all quite different. I think you can take a little bit of something from everyone and see what kinds of things people are doing and how they are implementing morning time or quiet time in their homeschools. So without further ado, let's go ahead and see what we have in our morning time. So I went ahead and got out our schedule, and I have already shared with you guys what our morning time schedule looks like, but I wanted to be able to show you guys, like, this is what it says in our schedule and this is what we're pairing with that. So we have everything is on a loop. So we have our full morning time, and it has everything that we're doing daily, and then I have a read aloud loop and a Bible loop. So I will start off by showing you guys that every morning we are starting off with devotional. First, let me show you. I have these little containers here, and over in that direction I have a cabinet, and that is where we are keeping these at. And so each one of my kiddos has one of these, and this is where their individual like morning time stuff is. So what we are going to do is we are all going to start off with devotional. So what that is for each one of my kids, this is actually a Bible curriculum, but this is what they're doing during that time. So they will go into here and they will just do day 1, because this works for a 4-day week, which is absolutely perfect for us because we do a 4-day homeschool week, and then on day 5 we're out at CC. So this works perfectly for us. So they'll come in here and they'll do day 1 or whatever day they're on. So as you can see, they'll start off reading, and then it'll have a prompt, and then some stuff there, and then there's just a couple pages for each day. I guess I should say this is the More Than Words Bible curriculum from Rebecca Spooner. I got these off of Masterbook's website. Like I said, they each week has a 4-day lesson plan and what they are going to be doing. So each morning they'll come in here and they'll go to the day that they are on. They will open this up and they will do that day's lesson in there. So each one of my older kids has the More Than Words level 2. Even though they've never done it before, they are just at the age to where level 1 was too young for them, so they're starting off with level 2. And then my 7-year-old has the More Than Words level 1. And so this is something that I can quickly do with her. I can read it to her, and then we can talk about it, and then there will be some copy work right here for her. And so that is what they will start off each morning with. So then right after they have each completed their lesson for the day and their More Than Words, we will all go into our individual devotionals. So my oldest daughter has 3-minute devotions for girls. My son has 3-minute devotions for boys. And then my youngest daughter has devotions for beginning readers. And then I also have for myself, I may have to read that devotional to my daughter, but I am going to fit in time to read my devotional, and this is the one that I'm starting off with. It's a daily devotional from grouchy to great, finding joy in the journey of motherhood. So I'm starting off with this one. I think this is about a month long, probably 2 months worth of daily devotionals in here if I only do this one during school days. I can probably get about 2 months out of this one. So this is what I'm starting off with, and this is one of those things that whenever it changes for me, I'll let you guys know. But the ones for my kids are meant to last them for about a year. So while I am working on my devotional, if they finish quicker than I do, they have their gratitude journals that they can move into. This isn't on their schedule because this is kind of just if they have time for it thing. So the gratitude journals, while I would like for them to do it every day, it's not on their schedule because it's not something that I expect out of them every day, but more on if I need them to wait because I'm doing something with my son, or if maybe my devotional is taking a little bit longer. But basically, if they're in a waiting period before we get started on all of our actual morning time work, then they can move into their gratitude journals. And so my older two have the Today is Great, a daily gratitude journal for kids. And then my daughter has Write, Draw, Color, Creative Gratitude Journal for kids. And so that's something else that they can do. And then once we are done doing all of our individual things, we will start off our school morning with our family devotional, which at least, I don't know how long this will last us, but at least for the first part of the school year, we're going to be doing God's Amazing Creatures and Me, devotions for boys and girls, 6 to 10. So my son's a little bit older for this, but not by a whole lot. So I think that he'll still enjoy it. So this is that first devotional that we will do together. And once we're done with this and we switch to something else, again, this is something that I will share with you guys when it's completed and when we move on to something else, which we'll probably go right back into Indescribable since we haven't finished that yet. And that's what we were doing last year. Okay, so now after we've done all of that during our devotional time, we'll move into our memory verse, which is really quick. And all we are doing for that is I have these foundations cards here from September & Co. So I will just pull out a card and we will start from the beginning, read the verse on there, and then I have like the little wooden block to set it on, and I can set it up on in our cabinet behind the glass so my 2-year-old can't get it. And we'll just read this verse. We'll do one verse per week. So we'll read our verse and then, just move on. And then we'll move on to character card. And so what I have for that is I have these 3 sets of character cards. Again, these are from September & Co. And this is something that's going to stay in our morning basket for hopefully forever. Even when we complete the set, we can just keep cycling through it because I just don't feel like we can ever, there's never going to be a time where we don't need to work on character in our home. So I feel like these are always going to have a place in our morning time, even when we've already done them. So I haven't decided which set we will start off with. So if you haven't seen these yet, there is a Bible set, a world set, and then a home set. We might just start off with the Bible set and then do the world and then the home, or maybe, I don't know. I haven't decided which one we'll start off, but just know when we're doing character card, it's going to be one of these. And again, we'll just practice one card for a week maybe. So like here when we're doing compassion, we might do compassion for a whole week before we move on, maybe a couple weeks. It kind of just depends on how that ends up working out. But there's those. And then we have our CC memory work. So here is my flip book for that. So we can just go in here to whichever week we're on. This is week 1. And we'll hit all of our subjects, practice those a couple times to either song or chant, or even just reading them out. I haven't talked to my kids on if any of my older 2 are going to be practicing for Memory Master or not. They didn't last year. I don't know that they're interested in doing that. So we'll just do like, I don't know, a couple minutes of CC memory, a couple songs going through, and be done with that. And then I've shown you guys in our family subjects what we're doing for science and history. So I will link that video in a card, and you'll also find it down in the description box, a link to that video where I talk about our family subjects to see what we're doing for science and history. But after CC memory work is whenever we will move into science or history. There's an asterisk there because science we will do on Mondays and Wednesdays, history on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so after science or history, then we're going to go into our Bible loop. And so I will show you what that looks like. One day for our Bible loop. So starting off the week, when we start school on Monday, we will start off in, this is another devotional, but we're starting off with the fruit of the Spirit. I talked about in a video recently how I have just felt the conviction from God to study the armor of God as well as the fruit of the Spirit with my kiddos. And so the first one that we're going to do, I have these books for all 9 fruit of the spirits, but we're going to start off with love. And so I have this book here that is a devotional that I'll read out of, and we'll talk about it and answer the questions together. I also have this book here, so we will open it up, and then while we're doing love, every day we will just come in here and read what it says about love. And so we will pair our devotional on love with this passage on love every time that we're on this for the loop. So it isn't something that we're doing every day, but every time that it's on our schedule for that day of the loop, whenever we get to it on the loop is whenever we'll do this. And then my younger kids, so all 3 except for my oldest son, have this fruit of the Spirit tree. This is my toddler's because I'm going to go ahead and get this all put together for him. I'm going to have all of them on here for him, but as for my girls, they'll have this in their binder, in their homeschool binder, and they'll cut out the fruit of the Spirit that we're on, and then they'll just leave it there. As we get through all of the 9 fruit of the Spirit, they'll end up filling up their tree. So the first one that's going to get put on is love. But for my toddler, I'm going to have this all set up for him already while we're doing the fruit of the Spirit on that particular day of the loop. He can just have these to play with and put them together, take them off and on, and just keep his little hands busy. So that is our fruit of the Spirit part of our loop. And then so on the loop, we would scratch that off, and then we would go to our read aloud loop. And so before I go show you all of the things on the read aloud loop, know that every day we're doing one thing from Bible loop, one thing from read aloud loop, but I'm going to show you everything in our Bible loop. So the next day on our loop, we would have theology and doxology. And again, these are cards that I have from September & Co. So to my younger 2, especially my daughter, I will read the theology and doxology card to her. And I'll have a little notebook for her. If she feels so inclined, she can do some copy work with that while I then go into the theology and doxology with my older 2 kiddos, and we can have more conversations around that. So that's what that is going to look like on our day for that part of the loop. And then we have our armor of God in the Bible loop. And so we each have something that we'll work out of. So for my kiddos, I have and these are all done by Priscilla Shire. So this is Unseen, the Armor of God for Kids. And these already have the parent guide in there. And so what I will do is I will use the parent guide for the older kiddos and read off of that, and then talk it through with them, and then let them do the activity in their book. And then my daughter would have heard all the same information, but I will go through what she needs to do in her book for that. And while they're doing their armor of God, I will do mine also, because I bought myself the Bible study for the armor of God to do right along with them. When we are doing the armor of God, kind of like the fruit of the Spirit printable, which by the way, I got these from Arrows and Applesauce. I also have one for the armor of God. So again, this is one that I'm going to go ahead and set up and put it all together, get all these cut out and the Velcro put on so that my son can just kind of play with it while we're doing our study and reading. But my daughters also have one of these, so every time we get to a specific piece of armor, they can apply it to their little character here. So you get the character, and then you get all of the pieces, and they say what they are. So the helmet of salvation, there's the belt of truth, the shield of faith, and all of those different things. So I thought this was a really fun hands-on way to add this in for my younger kiddos. So that is our armor of God part of our Bible loop. And then I have a couple of books that we will read. So like I said, we have one day that is fruit of the Spirit, one day of the theology doxology cards, one day of studying the armor of God, and then we have one day where we will read and have conversations out of the One Blood for Kids, What the Bible Says About Race by Ken Ham. I bought this book last year in hopes of doing it, but we never got around to it. So this is why this is why I put together the loop for a lot of parts of our homeschool. Is there's just a lot of things that I want to do, my kids want to do. There's just not enough time to like get them all done without overwhelming my kids in a day. So we can do a lot more. It may take us longer to get through a lot of these things, but we can add a lot more into our homeschool year and our day if we put things on a loop and just go get through them over time. So I'm really excited about doing this book with my kiddos. And there's just a couple pages of what that looked like. And then the other book that I have, and this is the last thing that's on our loop for Bible, and this is one that actually comes with the Language Lessons for Living Education 1. And I went through this with my daughter, but it was, I don't know what it was. I don't know if like she was just like disinterested or what, but she really wasn't into it. I don't know if it just wasn't resonating with her being 6 or just kind of when we were doing language arts. But I wanted to go through this with all of my kiddos, and maybe like with the older kids having conversations around it. It will help her with it as well. So this is The Door of Salvation, and again, this one's by Ken Ham as well. And I'll just show you, like each page has a door that you'll look under, and it talks about different stuff in there. It's really cute, and we ended up not getting through the whole book because she was just like disinterested, but I'll read the back of this one to you. It says, "Did you know there's a very special door? Noah and his family through the door went in when God judged the world because of our sin. We need to go through a doorway too. Jesus is that door of salvation for you. It's a free gift for all of us to receive, to all those who repent and believe." So this is just really like, you know, early talks, beginning stages. My kid, especially my older son, my son, he has had a lot of these conversations at church, and he's been hearing it a lot more about salvation and being saved and things like that, but it's still really new to my daughters, especially my youngest, which is why I don't think it resonated with her as well. I don't know if she could fully understand what it was all meaning, but it really is written in a wonderful way for kids. So I'm hoping that the conversations that me and the older kids have can really help her along too. So I'm really excited to be adding these 2 books along with all of the other stuff that we have added for our Bible loop. So now on to our read aloud loop. Like I said, I don't want this to be too confusing, so that's why I keep repeating myself, but we'll do the morning time stuff that we have every day, and then one thing from the Bible loop, one thing from the read aloud loop. If you guys watch my schedule video, you know that I have my CC read aloud books on a loop, but I'm going to be reading them based off of that morning time schedule. So, and it tells me actually here in the book what I need to read week 1 and week 2. So if I end up not getting that binder that has the morning time plans in there, which I should because it has the picture study in there, I at least know that in the book it tells me exactly what needs to be read in week 1, and it has that, or it tells me exactly what needs to be read each week, and it has that for each one of these books. So when I get to this, this is the first thing on my read aloud loop, and I'm going to only read for about 20-30 minutes, and if I can get through all 3 of the stories in here, or the 2 stories and the fable in here, that's wonderful. But if not, then I will just move on. And if I finish up the next day with the read aloud, then I can go back to this and read it again. So that's not an issue. So this is the Ancient World Echoes, which is the first thing on the read aloud loop. And then I have the Exploring Insects, and this is a lot, so like if you can tell, this is a lot shorter. So there would only be, there's one story and a fairy tale in week 1, but each one of these has, like, there's only 1 or 2 stories to read each week out of here. So if I end up finishing this early and I have some reading left to do out of this from the day before, I can easily finish it on the insect loop. And then after that, I have the Kings of Rome, and kind of the same thing. This one is a lot shorter as well, and each week has only 1 or 2 stories. So if I still have to carry on this to the same day as this in the loop, that is doable as well. And then after that, I have my CC paired reader. And for the first 6 weeks, we are going to use these as our CC readers. I have the Usborne Illustrated Dictionary of Biology. I have an Anthology of Intriguing Animals. And then I have the Book of Brilliant Bugs. So I will just go in here and read a couple of pages to whatever pairs with CC. So like in this bug one here, I know that in week 3 or 4, it's going to talk about invertebrates. And so I can go in here and specifically read that in this book about that. There's going to be a day where I can read about spiders and scorpions or pollinators, bugs that live underwater. So anytime I can pair something from a week of CC science, I can go in here and pick to read about it. And same thing with these others. This has a lot of stuff in here about classification of living things and plant cells and animal cells. So on those specific weeks, I can go in here and read out of that. And then when we talk about animals, mammals, different kinds of animals and stuff like that, we can read out of this here. I also am keeping this in our morning time because all of these books here, and I have a ton more that we can use as CC readers if I have time. I'm keeping those on my bookshelf. There's a lot of them, so I'm not going to share them all in this video. These are the ones that I'm picking specifically to share. And another reader that I have, this pairs with the Good and Beautiful Science, but I can also use this depending on what our CC is doing any particular week also. And this is the Nature Reader, Insects and Arachnids from the Good and the Beautiful. There's something for me to read out of any one of these books for the first 6 weeks of CC. And so these here are what I was talking about specifically when I was saying that I'm going to have books that are going to cycle out after the first 6 weeks, because in the first 6 weeks we're doing a lot of animals and insects and things like that, and towards the end of the 6 weeks we're going to move into plants. But the next 6 weeks after that are all about plants and flowers, and so then these books would be switched out with all of my books that I have about plants and flowers. And so one of the really nice things is we can use these as readers, but these are also resources that my kids can go to pick out something that they would want to present about. So every week in CC, the kids have a presentation that they're presenting to their classes. And so especially this DK book here, my kids can easily just like flip through the pages and see if there's anything that interests them. Maybe they want to talk about gorillas one week. Well, this is a really good place for them to come to read about it, and then to go see if we have any other books on the bookshelf that are about animals that have more information about gorillas, to then be able to put together a little 2-minute presentation for CC. And same thing with this. This is like all resourceful. So if they wanted to do something on animal cells or plant cells or living things or anything like that, they can come to this book. And then here's another one for bugs. And I have lots of other picture books that I'm going to be reading to my 7-year-old as readers, or as read-aloud independent reading for her, that I'll be reading to her, that any of my other kids can pick to read out of also and get more information about. So these are going to be our CC paired readers that we will pick from. And then the last thing that I have on there for our read aloud loop is a novel. And so I have quite a few different books that I've been thinking about doing, but I want to start off with, I got this series off of Amazon when I bought those Unseen Bible studies. And these are by Priscilla Shirer as well, with Gina Dwyer. And these pair right along with the Unseen Bible studies, and these are the Prince of Warriors. So this is just book 1. And so I have all 3 of the books in the series. This is the first one, the Prince of Warriors. So we're just going to start off with reading this one. So one of the reasons why I wanted to do a loop schedule is because I got really overwhelmed by read-alouds last year, because I had so many books picked out that I wanted to read. And when I started getting behind my schedule that I had, I just got in my own head and then just they were a major fail. And I have a video all about read-alouds being a fail in our homeschool. So that was another thing that I figured putting on a loop would help me out, where I'm not reading so much every single day. Another thing that's kind of helping is that you'll see last year during our morning time, we did units from Gather Around Homeschool. And as you can see, we're not doing that this year. So I think that my love for reading aloud for my kids can grow because I'm not doing so much curriculum reading to my kids versus, you know, being able to actually read, you know, fables and fairy tales and novels and things that we're interested in. Not to say that we weren't interested in those units, but it's a lot harder to enjoy reading when you're reading curriculum. So I'm really excited for the way that we are doing our morning time this year. I'm really hopeful and excited about this loop schedule that we've implemented this year for our morning time, but as well as for our kids' independent time. I'm hoping that it works out wonderfully. So that's all that I have for our morning time. Like I said, these are things, some of these things we're going to be using all year. Some of these things we're going to be switching out, like these books after 6 weeks. And if you guys are interested in me continuing to share with you over each 6 week time frame what new books we're adding into our morning time, like what's coming out and what's coming in, let me know down in the comments if you would like to see that. And so if you guys enjoyed seeing, let me know if you guys would enjoy seeing that here on my channel this year. And I want to thank Emily over at A Woman on a Journey for including me and inviting me to be a part of this collaboration. I hope that you guys will go over to her channel, check out her video and all of her other videos, subscribe, and then also go and get more ideas for morning time and quiet time from other moms that are also a part of this collaboration. I think that you guys will enjoy watching all of the different videos and all of the different ways that we are all implementing these things into our own homes. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please go ahead and hit the like. If you aren't already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit subscribe. I would love to have you here as a part of my community, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.